Well, folks, we have a society that promotes people being fat. That's just the reality of the situation. You wonder why so many people in America are fat? One good reason, our society incentivizes fatness. There is a piece by Daniel Pinnock, an actress, writer, and comedian, and star of the CBS sitcom Ghosts, and the creator of the one-woman show Body/Courage. Oh man, will it be more stunning or will it be more brave? She has a piece over at the Washington Post titled, What the Fat Shamers Don't Get About Lizzo. And she says this, I understand why Lizzo took a beat from Twitter. Last month, the Emmy and Grammy-winning multi-hyphenate artist, a classically trained flute-playing rapper, singer-songwriter, actress, and fashion mogul, was under attack again from internet trolls bombarding her with vicious messages about her weight. This time, it got so bad she locked down her Twitter account, writing, "Y'all don't know how close I be to giving up on everyone and quitting." I don't think that was phrased in sort of the Shakespearean, the sort of Old English. Y'all don't know how close I be. And I don't think that's what she's going to. Anyway, Lizzo embraces inclusivity for everyone who has a body. Everyone who has a body, as opposed to what? The bodiless? I mean, who are the people who don't have a body? Why isn't she including them? She chants the mantra of body positivity for all humans, not just the fat ones. Her songs, including Good as Hell and Truth Hurts, have resonated with millions of people as anthems of empowerment and self-acceptance. Ah, self-acceptance and empowerment. Now, here's the reality. If you want a path to unsuccess, you should follow the pathway of empowerment and self-acceptance. Great way to fail in life. Empowerment and self-acceptance means that you say that you are fine just as you are. No one, saints should not be fine just as they are. The best people are people who are always striving to better themselves and to better the people around them. You should not feel empowered just being you. You shouldn't wake up in the morning feeling, I am my best me. You are not your best you. There is a better you out there, and it's just a short distance away if you strive to change yourself. And it's, again, when it comes to the treadmill of life, the treadmill is moving underneath you. If you're standing still, you're moving backwards. Either you're moving forwards or you're falling off the treadmill. But empowerment and self-acceptance, quote, she lives freely and unapologetically. This sort of language makes me just want to vomit. Freely and unapologetically, as opposed to living in chains apologetically, whether twerking on the beach with her besties or modeling stylish crop tops from her shapewear brand, Yitty. But for years, Lizzo has faced backlash from people made uncomfortable by her unabashed acceptance of herself, who'd rather see her concealed in oversized cardigans and potato sacks. I love that the alternatives here are potato sacks or thongs. I feel like there's a whole wide range, a magical range of clothing that fits between potato sacks and thongs. What about her weight? People say she's promoting obesity. No, she isn't. There's a difference between endorsing obesity and practicing self-love. Well, not when her self-love involves promoting obesity. There's a fairly high crossover right there. When most people think of obesity, says this columnist, perhaps they think of skyrocketing BMIs or overweight people with chronic diseases or TV shows such as My 600-Pound Life or The Biggest Loser. Lizzo is not promoting any of that. She is just trying to exist while lifting others up. That's such a lie, by the way. She says the new standard of beauty is Lizzo. And so does the media. The media say Lizzo is a beautiful, beautiful woman. She's beautiful at whatever her weight is. She's got to be at least 150 pounds overweight. But it doesn't matter because, again, this is the new standard. Now, I have a question. Is it a recipe for your success to imitate Lizzo's actions? I love that this lady tries to turn Lizzo into a sort of fitness guru. She got me back in the gym, says this columnist. Seeing someone who looks like me, not ashamed or hating her body while exercising, changed my entire perspective on fitness. Did it, though? As opposed to saying to yourself, maybe we actually should not look like that. And the way to not look like that is not just to go to the gym. It's to actually change our diets. Caloric deficit is a real thing. But again, our culture says that to even say such things is judgmental and very, very bad. And then you wonder why there's a backlash that comes in the form of some of the stupidest presidential campaigning in human history and people resonating to it. So RFK Jr. is running for the presidency. He's garnering about 20% in the primary polls versus Joe Biden. And the reason for that is because Joe Biden is a doddering elderly gentleman who looks like he is going to literally keel over and die in front of us. RFK Jr. is a person who has expressed a number of wild theories and then also does a campaign where he takes off his shirt at the age of 70, pretty clearly on testosterone replacement therapy for whatever it's worth, and looks pretty ripped, and then does some push-ups, and people were like fawning over this yesterday. And so we can laugh at it, and it is funny. I mean, can you imagine Abraham Lincoln doing this as part of a presidential campaign? It'd be weird, be real weird. Calvin Coolidge just buffing down, very strange. But is there a reason that this is receiving some sort of support? The answer is yes, because if the alternatives are 70-year-old RFK Jr. at like a prison yard doing a workout, or Lizzo twerking while fat, American society knows what better shape looks like. We can pretend we don't. Here was RFK Jr. yesterday.
Okay, let's go.
There he is, 7-year-old dude doing push-ups. And honestly, for a 7-year-old dude, this is pretty impressive. Now, it is his final set, so he said he had to tweet out that this was actually his last set because he only got like 8 push-ups there. But it doesn't matter. This went viral, and the reason this went viral is, number one, he's a 7-year-old dude in really good shape, and also because it is a backlash to a society that says that it is actively good to ignore your weight, that it is actively good to ignore standards. Now, none of this could be promoted in any sort of scenario where the government didn't support it, because it would turn out that unsuccess would lead to, for example, lack of income. Lack of success in these various bad decision-making would have consequences, but we've constructed an entire utopian world in which bad activities, stupid decisions, actually end up being rewarded by the government because we're supposed to treat bad decisions with sympathy the same way that we would some sort of medical condition. The 4th of July is right around the corner. There are a lot of family gatherings we have lined up, and we need to be outside grilling. But here's the thing. When you got that grill working, you need the propane. There's nothing worse than you go out to grill. You start up the propane tank and you realize it's empty. Well, this is where our friends at Cinch come in. Cinch is a propane grill tank home delivery system. They deliver propane tanks directly to your door on your schedule. They don't require any long-term commitment or subscription. Plus, delivery is completely contact-free. You don't have to wait around at home. Track the order on the Cinch app from anywhere. The perfect summer night would not be complete without Cinch. Go to cinch.com or download that Cinch app and use promo code Shapiro to get your first tank exchange for just $10. That is CYNCH.com. Promo code Shapiro. It's a limited time offer. You have to live within a Cinch service area to redeem it. Visit cinch.com/offer for details. We rely on Cinch. Again, I'm big into the grilling, not only because I love the meats, not only because we've got a bunch of great holidays coming up, but also because, frankly, I rely on that protein intake to keep me healthy. Well, Cinch makes sure that I can keep that grill going when the propane tank runs low. You should do the same thing. Sign up for Cinch right now. Track the order on the Cinch app from anywhere. They will deliver that propane tank directly to your door on your schedule. No long-term commitments, no contracts. CYNCH, promo code Shapiro to get your first tank exchange for just $10. There's a lot of leftist propaganda out there. Endless pronouns, critical race theory, sexually explicit books, and more, all easily accessible to minors, virtually all via our public education system. There are literal fights taking place in public schools right now so that school boards can make sure that your child is indoctrinated with pornography, essentially. Colleges, meanwhile, are dumbing down their courses to accommodate the average incoming freshman who can barely read and write at a 7th grade level. And this is why you should be looking at Freedom Project Academy. They have perfected online learning by offering live, on-demand, and homeschool courses for grades K through 12. Freedom Project Academy was built on Judeo-Christian values and classical curricula. They're dedicated to mastery of subject matter and teaching kids how to think, not what to think. Right now, you can save 10% on tuition when you enroll at freedomforschool.com. That's freedomforschool.com. Got a lot of people who are constantly asking about homeschool curricula and what exactly they should do with their kids, given that the public schools are a giant mess. Well, why not check out freedomforschool.com? While you're there, you can read about their teachers, preview videos about the courses, and request a free information packet. It's not worth handing over another generation to the left. Take back your child's education. freedomforschool.com. That's freedomforschool.com. Again, why hand over your kids to the predations of a public school system that wishes to turn them into a good little leftist apparatchik? Instead, head on over to freedomforschool.com. Okay, all of this brings us to the collapse of the institutions that were supposed to prevent this sort of thing, and also to the building up of institutions that support the destruction of decent measures. So I have to say that I'm a non-Catholic, but I'm a member of Western civilization, which means that I have a pretty strong stake in the papacy. The Pope happens to have dominion over 1 billion people. What he says matters an awful lot, and Pope Francis has been doing an absolutely horrendous job, actually, of guarding the values that he is supposed to be guarding as the Pope. As a religious person, I would prefer to see Judeo-Christian religion flourish, because I think that Judeo-Christian religion has been the single greatest force undergirding a system of morality that allows for the values that create success. Well, apparently, according to Fortune magazine, Pope Francis praised artists on Friday as true visionaries who can see, dream, and invent, as he welcomed 200 artists, filmmakers, and writers into the Sistine Chapel to mark the 50th anniversary of the Vatican Museum's contemporary art collection. Francis acknowledged that some in the crowd, there was Andres Serrano of Piss Christ fame, sometimes use confrontation to make people think, but he said their aim was to find harmony and beauty. You want to reveal reality also in its contradictions, and in those things that it is more comfortable and convenient to keep hidden, Francis said. Like the biblical prophets, you confront things that at times are uncomfortable. You criticize today's false myths and new idols. It's empty talks the ploys of consumerism, the schemes of power. So that is presumably why you invite a person who literally put a crucifix in a jar of urine and called it art. It's hard to think of anything more self-defeating than that. And many of our chief religious institutions have been doing sort of the same thing. They've been mirroring the desires of the elites instead of mirroring the values that allow elites to become elites in the first place. All right, guys, the rest of the show continues right now. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be joined by Aaron Ginn, co-founder and CEO of Hydra Host. If you're not a member, become a member and use code Shapiro at checkout for 2 months free on all annual plans. Click the link in the description and join us.